Hi everybody, Shabbat Shalom, almost. Rabbanit Bracha Jaffe here, wishing everybody a sweet Shabbat Shalom with song. One of the things that my family loves to do is to look for songs in the Haftarah that we read. And there are lots of songs in the 7 weeks of Haftarah, of Shiva de Nechemta, the Haftarot of consolation between Tisha B'Av and Rosh Hashanah. And then, of course, on Rosh Hashanah itself, there are many songs in the Haftarot, and I invite everybody to look for those songs. I found 2 songs in this week's Haftarah of Teitzei. The name of the Haftarah is Roni Akara Lo Yalada. It's a very short Haftarah of 10 Pesukim. But before I talk about the songs, let's talk about what the Haftarah is all about. As I said, we're in the Shiva de Nechemta, the 7 weeks of consolation. So that is the main theme of the Haftarah. The prophet Isaiah, Yeshayahu, turns to Jerusalem and offers words of comfort and consolation, and telling Jerusalem that she will burst into song as the future holds hope and joy. And I specifically say she because that's how Yeshayahu, Isaiah, turns to Jerusalem. We often know that cities are referred to in the feminine, but particularly in this Haftarah, Rabbi Dalia Marks points out that there are 5 different ways that Yeshayahu refers to Jerusalem as a woman. They're all sad, but that's a setup in order to offer consolation to this sad woman. The first one is in the first pasuk, Roni Akara Lo Yalada. Sing, O barren one, somebody who did not have children. Continuing on, about a lonely woman, shomema, desolate, again, because she doesn't have children. And this is describing Jerusalem after the Churban, after the Beit HaMikdash, the 2 temples were destroyed, and Yerushalayim was abandoned mostly, and ruined and burned in flames when the people of Israel went into exile. Continuing on, Kivoshet alumayich tishkachi, you will forget the shame of your youth, meaning that Yerushalayim shamefully strayed from the path, in this case, betrayed the love of God by the Bnei Israel, by the Jews turning to other gods, and for not acting in a way that we should be acting as Jews, being kind to each other, being careful of each other's dignity. And that was something that Bnei Israel, the Jews, were not careful about at the times of the destruction. Another description is of a widow, Cherpat al-menutayich, the shame of your being a widow. And lastly, a gerusha, a divorcee, as it says, Isha azuva va'atzuvat ruach, like a woman abandoned and oppressed. These are the types of women that Yeshayahu is offering consolation. So fittingly, there is a story told in the Talmud in Masachet Berachot where a heretic approaches a woman with a question. Who is this woman? Her name was Bruria. She was the wife of Rabbi Meir, was a very, very famous Tana, sage from the Mishnah. But she was a woman of learning and stature in her own right, and one of the few women who is quoted in the Talmud. The heretic says jeeringly, according to the story, to Bruria, why does the Haftarah begin, Roni akara lo yalada pitzchi rina v'tzahali? Sing, O barren one who has not given birth. Burst out in song and rejoice. Because the heretic says, well, if she is barren, what does she have to sing about? And Bruria answers back, you are such a fool. You didn't read the rest of the verse. Ki rabu b'nei shomema mi b'nei be'ula amar Hashem. The end of the verse says that the population of Jerusalem will exceed that of settled land. So although at this moment, Yerushalayim is compared to a barren woman, she is joyful because one day she will indeed be full of children. And that's what we see today in Yerushalayim and in the land of Israel, in Medinat Israel. This Haftarah gives hope to Jerusalem, to Israel, and to us, that even when things seem bleak, God will be there for us to offer us a positive future. Getting back to the songs in the Haftarah, the first song, there are 3 words tucked into verse 3 that we will be singing in Kabbalat Shabbat very soon tonight. Look up Joey Weisenberg's song, Lincoln's Nigun, Yamin Usmo, that's how it begins. I guarantee it'll be a treat. The second song, in the very last pasuk of this Haftarah, verse 10, is the second part of a beautiful song written by Eitan Katz and sung by Eitan and Shlomo Katz about God's everlasting love for the Jewish people. I invite all of us to think about someone who we have an everlasting love with, an unconditional love. It could be a friend. It could be a family member. It could be someone who is with us. It could be someone who has passed. I invite all of us to hold tight to a memory or a feeling of love with this person as I share the second part of this song with you from verse 10 in Hebrew and in English. Heharim yamushu והגבעות תמותנה וחסדי מאיתך לא ימוש. The mountains will crumble and the hillside will fade away, but my love for you will not end. Shabbat Shalom.